yo, that coconut water post, yo, that shit was hilarious.
Coconut water tastes like spit. What did it say? Hold on. It said coconut water tastes like water that's already been in someone's mouth. Has that slight saltiness to it.
Yo, if that's not like the perfect description. I remember one time, I don't know, I just like read like one little fact about coconut water. I was like, yo, I need to get this incorporated in my diet. Yo, so
Trying to be all healthy.
I went to the poppy market and bought like 12 cans of this shit.
12?
Yeah, and this is me not never having it before, right?
Oh, no.
So I opened that joint up.
Mm-hmm.
And take a sip, yo. This shit was so nasty.
Did it have the pulp in it?
Yeah, it had like little square pieces of nastiness in it. Like, it is literally spit up consistency. Like that liquid spit up. It was all warm. And it was warm too, so that makes it even nastier.
No, I gotta be ice cold. But some of them, I mean, like, they have, like, the added sugar and...
That shit ain't had none. That shit
some
had
of the brands
nasty.
are worse than the others, but...
That shit had added nasty.
Added nasty. I mean, I've had it mixed. Like, my husband will mix it with rum and stuff, and it's actually not too bad. It's interesting.
I mean, at least you're getting something out of it. That's something else. Yeah, that's something else that you can mix it. Because, like, let's be real, yo. Alcohol don't taste good. It doesn't taste good.
Right.
How trash does a drink have to be that you mix alcohol with it and it tastes better?
Shut up.
You're usually mixing like Coke or something to make alcohol taste better. That'll let you know.
But yeah, I think it depends on the brand of coconut water or just how depleted of essential nutrients and vitamins you are. Because
true.
Yeah, like after I got a colonic, I was like, I need some electrolytes.
You felt depleted.
I'm depleted.
All right.
Why are we even starting this off with this?
Welcome to the BZ podcast.
Hey, y'all.
This is Zay. That's
We're back.
Brett. We're back. Sorry, y'all stumbled into our rant about coconut water, but
yeah, that was not planned. But memes.
Yeah,
Memes are life.
Memes run the world. Right.
All right. So today we are going to be talking about accountability.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Doesn't it seem like when you say accountability, it seems like a negative thing?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It sounds so daunting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Gonna hold you accountable for listening to the rest of this podcast today.
Yeah, let me tell you right now, if you turn this joint off after accountability, you a straight sucker.
But okay, let's really get into it. All right. So when we look at accountability, and if you look at the literal definition, it is an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. So accountability starts with you.
Okay.
Pretty much. And you need to be seen as accountable at all times. And like you said, say someone comes up to you and they're saying, I'm going to hold you accountable for what we've discussed. And immediately you're thinking of fear. Like, is that a threat?
You're stressed out. It stresses you out.
Is that a threat, nigga? Like, fuck you mean you're holding me accountable?
Pull up there.
And it's just like, now there's going to be expectations. It's just a negative, bubble around that word in general.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that, like, accountability is based on your level of commitment in the eyes of other people.
Mm-hmm.
It is...
But to yourself, too.
To yourself,
yeah.
But in the eyes of other, that you can build these relationships. Like, accountability helps you navigate the world, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, I think that there's, like, for me, I was able to break down accountability into, like, 3 kind of sections.
Okay.
For self-improvement, for your relationships, and how you interact with others.
Okay.
That's kind of how, for me, I was able to separate it. And I was looking up stuff online in regards to accountability, and most of it is on the workplace.
Yeah, that's what I was finding too.
What I mean?
Everything
and it's
was
like,
workplace.
It's like, okay, yeah, you need to be accountable at work, sure, but accountability can go throughout every factor of your life. So that's why I thought it was strange that it was always just like in the workplace, and I don't know if it's just because of all those different, business articles and how to improve your work performance and how to get your employees to do what you want them to do and all that It's like they're not the only type of people that need to read up on this shit. I think they're just catering to that audience with all these articles. It was like kind of difficult to find something talking about just like personal growth as far as accountability is concerned.
Yeah, I think that's one of the easiest mechanisms or environments that you can use to display accountability, because all businesses run on accountability. Right. Everybody got to be accountable.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So what was your other? Did you have another?
Just going on still. Being able to take away the negative tone around the word accountability.
Yeah.
Usually when it shows up is when something goes wrong. People start to lay blame, pointing fingers, and that's not always how it has to go. I think that's just what we think.
Yeah.
It's just viewed as a punishment. But accountability really means just preventing something from going wrong.
Yeah, and I think, let me jump in. I think that is the misconception. A lot of times we place all the burden of accountability at the end of whatever process it is.
Right.
When it's really something that should be adapted in the beginning of whatever you're starting. Because if you adapt it in the beginning, you have more control over that outcome on the back end of a situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's pretty much just clear commitments that need to be kept.
Yeah.
So just breaking down a clear structure of what you want done or whatever someone is expecting of you and just following through. It's not scary. I guess it's scary if you're not willing to hold up to it, and then you have to go through the part of owning up to your mistakes and your shortcomings.
Yeah, it's only scary at the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's only scary like at my job. When I mess up, it's only scary when I gotta walk into my boss's office and be like, yeah, I fucked up.
Right.
But if I held myself accountable throughout the whole process, that almost eliminates the chances of it biting me in the ass at the end. It's almost
right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Nah, you're fine.
But I wanted to say, too, what you were saying about, like, having to own up to your mistakes. That falls into, like, interaction with others, because that can be with anything, not only work, just owning up that you made a mistake, and it shows that you want to fix the problem, and it shows that you're a stand-up person. Nobody's perfect, and people can respect someone that is honest, not wasting their time with lies. So it's like, say you broke something, which is, like, typical of me. Always breaking something. Yeah, and it's like, say if it's something important that needs to get fixed, and it's just like, you don't want to waste time and everybody's who did it, who trying to figure all that shit out. Just be honest and say, I fucked it up, so they can hurry up and get fixed and everybody can move on. Or like you work in the printing industry, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure things happen all the time as far as somebody fucking up. And if you're quiet about it and that gets figured out later on, oh my gosh, I'm sure that sets the whole process back.
It's the worst. It's almost like you want to get ahead of it. If you see it coming and it's out of your control, you want to get ahead of it. And what I've also learned is that people usually acknowledge that mess ups happen.
Yeah.
But what goes a very long way is when you're not making excuses for why it happened. When people see you going just committing and just saying, hey, I messed up. This might be why it happened, but still no excuse. People respect that a lot. People respect you owning your mistakes.
Right.
That kind of leads me into this. One of the things that I've adopted personally is just the mantra that it's my fault. And it might, the mantra that it's my fault. And that sounds very, your reaction is real, but that sounds very, very demeaning. That sounds like it can bring you down. But what I find, and this is personally for me, but maybe people can identify or you can identify, is that we spend the most effort identifying all the reasons of why something happened or why we are in the position that we're in. For example, like financial burdens. Oh, it's because of student loans, or I'm a black man, I'm a black woman, or I have it harder, or this person's lucky, the system isn't fair. All of these things are dangerous because it pushes us further and further away from accountability. And when people usually hear these things, it's jarring. They feel like it's a personal attack. They feel that it often discredits their experience. And I'm here to say that all of these things can still be true, but it's still your fault at the same time. And
see, all right,
this is what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
Let me get this last thing out. But this is what I mean. It's great you can identify these reasons. It's awesome. But also understand that you can spend a lifetime doing so. So dwelling on it and it not leading to action to change the situation literally just leaves you in a state of you're on pause. Right. Because it leaves you bitter, it leaves you mad. And I'm just speaking for myself. This isn't a rule of thumb. This is just how my mind operates. It leaves you bitter, leaves you mad, but it rarely leads to action. You can find, you can create an entire list that goes on for days of why this happened or that happened. At the end of the day, until you own it and come up with a plan to attack it, right, you're just pushing accountability off to the side. What were you about to say?
No, I was just saying how you were just like, everything's my fault. I say everything is my fault. I understand what you're saying because we're just kind of, super emo kids at heart. Just everything sucks. It's my fault. But
I think it's empowering.
No.
Though.
It is. No. It is. I'm just saying the thing is, there's nothing wrong with taking. I don't want to say the blame, whatever. That sounds harsh, but taking the blame. It's just that we also have to love ourselves throughout the process and not beat ourselves up for making mistakes.
Of course.
And you know what I mean? So I know that's how you're going about it. It just sounds harsh the way you're saying it.
Yeah. It sounds real drill sergeant. It sounds real drill sergeant.
But yeah, it's just the most important thing is loving ourselves so that we want to make the change and we care enough about our well-being and our future and our goals and whatever you want to accomplish to be able to hold ourselves accountable and not just sit there and blame everything and everyone else for our problems. Like, that's not going to help you at the end of the day. Everybody's accountable for themselves. And that goes into partly into how you interact with others. We are not accountable for what happens beyond our control. Of course, things are going to happen that we didn't really have anything to do with, but we're kind of placed in a situation, but we can't choose how we respond to it.
Yeah. And that's what I want to get to as fast as possible is choosing how do we respond to it. Identify all these things, but then something has to happen after with how we respond to it.
Yeah. That's the only thing that you can really control is yourself.
Yeah. Did you have anything to add?
No, I kind of wanted to move into relationships and accountability.
All right, go right in.
Just if both people in the relationships are working on being accountable,
And this is in a relationship, or is this a specific
I guess relationships are just any relationships with anyone. It can be a business relationship. It can be a family relationship.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, both people have to work on changing their conduct and managing their feelings. You know what I'm saying? And that's also just having the courage to do so, because it's so easy to just be like, it's not my fault, it's yours.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And it's it really does require discipline to change the behavior and to be able to stop, take it in, and say, like, how can I respond to this better?
Okay.
And I mean, even with myself, like, I'll go through these periods of when I'm just irritated or whatever, and the way that I'm coming off is affecting how people are treating me. And, and I can be like, oh, you're being nasty to me, da-da-da-da. But I find when I take a more gentle approach, or if I'm more calm and stuff, I get the same back. Yeah. So, you might think it's not going to work, but even if they still might say something disrespectful, you can't take it personal. That's just how whatever they're dealing with, that's what's causing them to communicate that way. And you can just keep on consistently showing a more positive attitude. And soon enough, it will start to reflect back.
One of the things that I work with interacting with other people, especially if it's on like if you're discussing or talking about something that might be triggering. If you didn't listen to 2 episodes ago, trigger, shameless plug. But one of the things that I find that people almost can't resist the urge to talk about themselves. Mm-hmm. So a good approach to calm down situations.
I'm sorry I'm laughing because I went through this yesterday.
Yeah. But a good approach to calm down situations and kind of ease the tension is ask questions. I ask questions. When I see stuff going off the rails and stuff like that, I just start asking questions. Allow the person to talk. That allows the person to feel like they're heard. And that way you can kind of navigate conversations that might be going in a wrong direction.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of off topic, but it helps.
No, I don't think so. It's not off topic. I was talking with a friend yesterday that's having some relationship issues, and I kept on I'm trying to console her and things like that, and I'm laughing because I kept on interjecting my personal shit, because the one time when and I'm like delete like that. Brittany, that got nothing to do with nothing right now. Because I know that because this and that. I know how you feeling because I did that. No, just erase that. What my experience ain't important right now. I just need to show that I'm here for you. I think that we do that a lot too. It's always trying to show that we understand by throwing in what we do too.
Yeah.
You tired? Well, I'm tired too.
Everybody ones up each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's you don't even realize you're doing it sometimes.
Even on negative stuff, I think we talked about it in a previous episode. Even the one-upping negative stuff. I have it worse than you.
I don't know if we ever talked about it on the episode, but I know we definitely talked about this.
I thought I called it competitive victimization mentality.
Yes.
But let's get back.
Okay. So another thing is too a lack of accountability as far as we still talk about within relationships. When you're apologizing and you don't change your behavior. So it's that's one of the most important things is if you're going to apologize, you have to accept accountability for your actions and change, not keep doing the same shit. Because saying one thing and doing another is hypocrisy. I mean,
of course,
of
course. One thing, and this might be jumping into a different direction, but I think you said something along the lines before, is discovering your motivators. What I mean by that is finding out what triggers you specifically to give you the best possible outcome. So I'll give you an example. I discovered that I'm much more enthusiastic about goals when I'm under pressure. It is a shit discovery. I know. Because it leads to procrastination. It leads to a whole bunch of stuff. But this is just how I work, right? But it was important that I made that discovery. So I had to find ways more or less to trick myself into accountability.
Right, by setting deadlines.
Yeah, setting deadlines. Or for example, even with this podcast, when I came to you with it, it was under the guidelines that, all you would have to do is show up and record. I'm going to handle everything else. I'll take care of the editing, graphics, blah, blah, blah. But that created a dynamic which someone is trusting me. And now I don't want to let you down. And it creates pressure. That pressure is a motivator for me personally. Now, whether it succeeds or fails, I feel accountable of either outcome. And even outside of that, the listeners hold us accountable, even if they don't say it. It forces us to be more proactive in controlling the outcome.
Right.
And that's why I say it's kind of a thing outside of yourself. Because you should be, there is a personal accountability, but, I applaud the people that are accountable for themselves and themselves only. You know what I'm saying? But I recognize at 31 years old, that's just not how my brain operates. My brain needs to be back against the wall. I got to prove something to people at all times, and that's not a bad thing. People always kind of write that off you should be doing it for yourself, this, that, and the third. It's not a selfless act. You know what I mean? I don't think it is a selfless act. I think a lot of the things we do, is is for other people, you know, and
it's not bad. I think everyone can find someone else they would need to prove, like, in quotations, prove something to a degree, like your kids or, you know, maybe their parents, significant others, or like you said, you know, people that you know follow you or follow your work, things like that. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I only had one more thing, one more little piece to add to the relationships and accountability, really. I saw something that was called the 4 degrees of accountability within relationships.
Okay.
So it says the first degree of accountability is taking into account the experience of the other person. So you can be able to construct a quality of presence in the relationship. So it's recognizing how that person's feeling, you know, how your interactions affect that person and things like that. Just even being able to recognize it, because, you know, a lot of people don't stop to think about how the other person's feeling.
It's empathy. Empathy.
Right. And so the second degree of accountability is recognizing that actions are choices. So you can make a choice to behave how you want to behave. You know what I'm saying? It's not just happening. You're making a choice.
But that's how I feel like when you say it's not just happening. A lot of people have this just happening attitude.
Yes. All the time.
It's the worst. And they put it on everything. Like even on the last episode, we were talking about religion, you know, how your mom, everything's going good. She's great. And then once something bad happens, it's, how can it be a God? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exactly.
like we fall into a lot of things where we just throw accountability around like a hot potato. Like, oh, nobody want that shit. Like, fuck that. It's like it's like the bill. It's like the bill after you go out to eat with a whole bunch of people. Like once they drop the bill, everybody just throwing that shit around.
I'm done.
But yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right. So the third degree of accountability is recognizing a set of expectations. So that's, you know, setting up what is expected, you know, of each individual, and they need to hold up on that end. It's like an agreement or some sort of understanding that you come through. It's just constructing, you know what I mean, the bullet points.
Yeah.
This, and this. All right. And the last one, the 4th degree of accountability, is acting on the change of dynamics. So it's the ability to take into account the ways of, you know, being that we've made from now forth, you know, what we're going to be doing, just whatever that is just being on board with it and following through.
Action is, this is the year of doing.
About that action.
Yeah, you gotta it's to do. A lot of people think there's a real disconnect between the start of a process, whatever you're working on, and the end, and nobody really understands that just doing is all you have to do. Just being proactive in whatever you're trying to get done. That takes a level of accountability.
Why me?
Yeah, the woe is me thing. I suffer from that.
Why does this happen to me? I don't understand why this person's still contacting me. Block that motherfucker. I don't understand why no one likes me. Shut up, really? No one. If no one likes you, then you need to look at yourself.
You know, it's crazy.
Why am I fat? Because you fucking work out.
It's crazy how we want everybody else to be accountable, but we don't hold the same stuff for ourselves. I suffer from the woe is me shit. The woe is me, and just always, it's always this and this. Like it took me a very long time to get a plan in place. Now, I'm very introspective. I'm in my brain almost to a fault. I can nitpick anything to the most minute detail.
Well, you have to be.
You do, but you can get stuck in that. You can get stuck in that. Yeah. And I think that's when it's bad. You know, you were saying when I said everything is your fault, that's only a period of time.
I mean, everything is your fucking fault.
It kind of is. Wherever you are, wherever you are is where you made all the decisions to get there. But it's not dwelling that everything is your fault. It's understanding exactly. Just that. It's understanding just that. It's understanding that, hey, whatever, all the decisions I made led me to this point. And it's cool to identify all these things, but at the end of the day, you gotta put a plan into motion. That's the hardest part. Breaking habits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's life, it seems.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, do you have anything? I mean, I found something.
Keep going.
I mean, I ain't want hop, skip, jump, stomp over whatever else you had to say.
Nah. Keep going.
Alright. So, I found something that looks pretty cool that I'm excited to try out. Okay. As far as a way to improve accountability. Because I don't know if, like, you guys, I have a million things in my head. I'm like, I'm going to achieve all these things one day. And it's just all a big swish swash. Like, it's just all swish swash. It's just all up there, just getting all mixed up. And I kind of work on things here and there. And there's no consistent vision or plan to really execute these things. So it's called, I stumbled across this, it's a book called The 12-Week Year, and it's by Brian Moran, I think is his name, or is it Morgan Moran, and Michael Lennington. And pretty much when trying to practice accountability as far as your goals, a good way to do that is to break it down basically into more tangible goals. So with this 12-week year, pretty much you work on a few goals for 12 weeks. So that's 3 months? Mm-hmm. So you break down the goals into those 3 months, and with long-term planning, it's more difficult and it's usually ineffective because things constantly change. So in your head, when you're saying, I'm about to do this next year or in 2 years, it's just like, yeah, that might be the plan now. But in 2 years, you might be doing something completely different that doesn't align with that goal anymore. Mm-hmm. So when you're able to keep updating and achieving goals, you 3 months pass, you finish that, you can push that to side, you've built new habits, you can focus more so on other things instead of everything all at one time. So pretty much this is where the accountability comes in, because you actually have to plan that shit out. Yeah. And sit there and you have to keep track of if you're actually doing the things or not. So breaking down your goals into smaller increments of what you believe you can achieve or behavior you can change in 12 weeks seems pretty doable.
Yeah, let me jump in. One of the things I think people do is we grossly overestimate what we can get done in a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because even when we go to write these first things down and we're being proactive about setting these goals we want to make, we'll start our day and say, hey, I want to get my resume tomorrow. I want to get my resume done. I want to go to the gym. I want to, and the list grows. And there's not enough hours in the day. There's really not. So I think one of the things is you have to set very realistic goals. Yeah. And understand that realistic goals doesn't mean you're limiting yourself. It's just understanding your workload.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. Personal to you, right? Yeah. Some people can get more stuff done than others. It just depends on your personal situation.
For sure.
But when you are writing your goals, you can ask yourself, how will your life be different if you accomplish these goals? Just to try to narrow down what is important and what's priority. And that will also help keep you motivated when times get tough, when you don't really feel like working on that goal that day or that week or, whatever. But some steps as far, I want to get the book, but from what I compiled online, this is kind of how this works. So you're setting your 12-week goals. Now you break your 12-week goals down into weekly and daily action plans. So from what I saw, most people broke down their goals into 3 categories. It'd be personal, work-related, and personal project, or like business, like a personal business related. So it can be something they want to work on for themselves, something they want to work on at their job. And if they have their own business on the side, something that pertains to that, or maybe just say you write articles, or you do poetry, or you craft,
or podcast,
anything. Yeah, you podcast, whatever. I would consider that like your personal business side project, right? So yeah, like a personal could be like changing a diet, exercise a certain number of days a week. I saw one woman said meditating 5 minutes a day, and I was like, that's actually really good, because you can do 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then even if, say, you get used to the 5 minutes after maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the 3-month thing, you can up it, to 7 minutes or whatever you feel comfortable with. It doesn't have to stay, the exact thing, but it's just that's what you need to at least do.
Yeah,
to at least do 5 minutes, right? So then you also need to track your progress daily or weekly, depending on what the goal is, in a planner, on an app, or like a spreadsheet, whatever works for you. So you can see what's working and what's not working, and what improvements you can make to achieve this goal. So say, you exercise, say 3 days a week. So each week you need to mark on your calendar or whatever setup you have that you've completed those 3 workouts for the week. And if it's, say, a few weeks pass and you're seeing it's really difficult, maybe you need to knock it down to 2 days.
Yeah, understand that feedback is a form of accountability. Mm-hmm. Any feedback you get is very beneficial. You just got to be careful if feedback makes you get complacent. Because I know I've struggled with that. Just
like feedback to yourself? What are you talking about?
Just any form of feedback. Any form of feedback is a form of accountability. Only because by getting feedback, so say if me and you are working or whatever, and you tell me you need this done by this time, and I ask you, well, how is this supposed to be done to your satisfaction? And you give me that information, that's a form of feedback to help me progress and meet your expectations. So, side note, whenever we ask y'all for feedback, you actually holding us accountable. That's all.
Yes.
All right, so go ahead.
All right. So, and when you're making your goals, I was just saying about, like, as far as the weekly and daily. So, if you have, say, you want, like, a work goal could be every single day to get to work on time.
Okay.
That can be a goal.
That's a goal of mine.
Yeah, I think that's a goal of a lot of ours. Or to bring your lunch every day, or to practice a more positive attitude at work, or maybe just create a better morning routine to create less stress as far as getting out in the morning. So something as simple as that, as far as, just starting to achieve your goals and to just make your life a bit easier. That's something you could track daily. Like, hey, did I get my clothes together the night before? Did I get my lunch? Did I get everything together the night before for work? You know what I'm saying? And that could be something every day that you're checking off as a goal. And after a while, that becomes habit. Especially if you're doing something every day for 3 months.
Yeah, they say it takes 90 days. It takes 90 days to form a habit.
Yeah. And as far as like a personal project goal, maybe it's sketching something twice a week, or uploading content at least once a week, or even volunteering to clean up trash on your block once a month. That can be as far as just like personal things that you want to help change for yourself. And when you're making the goal, start simple. Try not to cram too many things into a 3-week period. I mean, a 12-week period. You know what I mean? Don't get overzealous.
Yeah, we overestimate.
Start with prioritizing. Think right now, what will help bring content into my life. Like, I know I really need to work on cleaning. God.
It's eliminating the stress factors.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I need to work on staying more tidy. And once I get that into better habit, I can focus on something else.
A lot of the things that go unchecked are the things people don't understand that, look, whatever you're keeping in the back of your mind is influencing your everyday decisions. So like even with clutter, I know clutter drives me crazy. Yes. Like clutter does drive me crazy. I just had to clean my damn room today. That shit was wild. But
that seriously will stress you out.
Yes, you're coming home and you're just shit all over the place, and you wonder why everything else in your life is kind of disorganized.
Yeah, then you're just mad.
Yeah, just mad.
But this is, like I said, it's all about creating new habits and holding yourself accountable and not waiting for things to change or happen with minimal effort from yourself. You got to put in the work.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I tell you, that's why.
I tell you,
I'm getting old. I'm saying stuff like that. No, but that's why putting it outside of yourself in any way, shape, or form is so dangerous. That's why I adopted the attitude of it's my fault. Because once there's a door open that I can throw it to somebody else, like, here, you take it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's my life. It's my life. And I'm over here throwing it and making sure that I can't be blamed for anything that's going on. And don't nobody care about you like you should.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And but as far as this 12-week year, I think it's awesome. I'll have to get the book and check it out. It's something I would definitely want to try to start February 1st.
Okay.
But it's, like I said too, you need to review and check yourself. And every week, look through, and as long as you're keeping track of what you're doing and what you're not doing, you can see where things are not working and where they are. Mm-hmm. So
you got to take inventory of your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Schedule your weekly review sessions with yourself, and see what can be done better, what needs to be changed. So I think it's awesome, and I hope some of you guys try it out too.
I think we should.
And we can have a little accountability group. Oh my gosh,
guys! We just lost listeners with that. That was too chipper. But it's dope. I think we all should try to do something along those lines.
Yeah.
You think?
Ain't nothing ever gonna get done over here, Chad. Goodness.
I'm still throwing accountability around like a football.
And it's just shut up. And it's just like I said, little changes throughout your day, just little things, and then it can build from there. But I think the number one thing too is getting a handle too, if you are struggling with any sort of addictions, that needs to be priority, getting a handle on that, because that just screws with everything else and how you view things and just how you're going about your life. So if any of you out there are struggling with anything, I think that should be one of the first things that you work on.
Yeah, I think that kind of limits the way in which you can really change other aspects, because it takes up so much of your brain.
Yeah,
it takes up so
much. And it can even be a food addiction. Any type of addiction.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah,
we don't judge here at the BZ Podcast. Everybody's addicted to something. I ain't telling you though.
Shut up. You said I ain't telling you.
I ain't telling you though. All right, I think we're good. We would love to hear back from y'all. Let us know what you think. Let us know how accountability affects y'all, or how you guys, better ways that you guys. We don't have all the answers. I always say that shit.
Yeah, but just what I do know is no shifting blame.
Yeah, keep that. All your fault.
It's all your fucking fault.
All right. Yeah, good shit.
All right, man.
All right. Remember, rate, review.
Oh my God, they said rape.
Share.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
God damn it. I said rape.
Remember rape.
R-A-T-E.
Rape and review.
I ain't say that. I don't want no smoke, man. I don't want no smoke.
The fuck are you promoting, Zay?
All right. So remember to rate, review. You got iTunes. You got SoundCloud. You got Stitcher Radio. YouTube. We up and rocking. I feel like only old people use YouTube.
Oh, bullshit. Fuck you.
Well, especially for audio.
A YouTube user, me.
No, for audio. I'm talking for audio podcast.
Oh, well, yeah. True, because you can't leave the app.
Yeah, you can't leave the app.
Close the app,
you just drain the battery. Anyway, hey, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate the listen. Yes. Thank you guys. Thank you gals. Thank you everyone.
Yes.
All right. See y'all later.
Later.